Don't you wanna be free when you're standing on the edge of time? One word's all I need to relieve you of your rising greed. Don't you wanna be free when your life's turning upside down? Let me show you the way to go when all direction is lost. I cannot be all you need. I promise to be by your side to help you set your mind at ease. For once I will not run and hide. I've said it time and time and again. If you want, I can be your friend. Don't you wanna be free to forget where your life should be? For once, stand up for what's right and be true to the ones you need. Don't you wanna be free and to never be afraid again? This time I will not let you go. I'll be your shelter from harm. I cannot be all you need. I promise to be by your side to help you set your mind at ease. For once I will not run and hide. I've said it time and time and again. If you want, I can be your friend. Hey everyone, welcome. I just want to show you, see, it's still light out. Isn't that exciting? I'm so excited. I was hoping it would still be a little light out for when I started. Um, and it was a little bit hectic. I decided to come up to the lake tonight to do my live. And so I got up here, unloaded the car. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I might as well do some work or whatever. And I realized I forgot my laptop. So I was like, dang. So then I was going to head home and do my live back at home. So it's about an hour and a half drive. But I have a great husband. He met me halfway. So I was able, we did this switch off the highway and he brought me my laptop. So I literally just got this scheduled. I was maybe just going to do an impromptu at 7 and not have it scheduled, but it all worked out. Um, so, anyways, so hello everybody. Let me just look in the chat. There's going to be a lot of riffing tonight because I don't have any notes, but I know what I want to talk about. So hopefully I will stay on track. And I don't know if anybody really looked at the picture for the opening. First of all, can you hear me? Can you folks hear me? If somebody could just let me know you can hear me. Anybody? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, thank you, Daniel. Um, if anybody looked at the opening picture, that was actually one of my daughters. My youngest daughter went to visit my middle daughter um, over spring break, and they're in the Grand Canyon hiking. So that was actually one of my daughters in the Grand Canyon. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I wanted to open with that. So they sent me some great pictures. Hey, Scott. We got Scott, and we got Mike, and we got Tyler. Hi, Catherine. How are you, hon? Hi, Lori and friends. I'm jumping in to say hi. I have another meeting, but I'm hoping it will be brief and I can come back before you're finished. Well, thank you for saying hello, hon. Love having you here. So, yes, if you can make it back, great. But if you can't, no worries at all. No worries at all, hon. Hello, hello. Hi, CL. How are you, hon? Hey, how are you? I love having you here, hon. I think this might be your first live, or at least the first live that you've said hello. I hope you're doing well. This song reminds me of a feel-good sitcom from the 80s. Do you remember the name of it, Scott? Let me know. Hey, Allie, hon. I hope you're having a good weekend, and let me know how that I think you went to like an artist and craft fair or something yesterday. Let me know how that went. I love those. Nice view. Yes, so that was the Grand Canyon. Thanks, Tyler. Actually, well, I'll bring him into my story, but I think Mike from Mike's Retirement Corner was my 500th subscriber. So he gets the kudos for that. But thank you, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate everybody. I love having everybody here. You all mean the world to me. You really mean the world to me. Um, thank you. Thank you. So everybody could hear me. Yeah, and Scott, you know, there's such a delay from the YouTube comments coming over into Ecamm, and I've seen it be delayed as much as almost 20 seconds. So um, everybody's saying I'm good. Hey, Yvonne, how are you, hon? And I am going to watch the time, and I am going to try and get off about 5 minutes of 8 so everybody can have a bathroom break before hopping on your live. So thank you. Hey, Sally, how are you, hon? Thank you for doing that second live today. Actually, I took you running with me, and when I can listen to a podcast or a live stream, I've taken Rob with me before his live streams when I go running. I just so focused on the conversation that before you know it, the run's over. So thank you. Loved it. Trying to send some pictures to Yvonne on the steps to do a live together. Okay, nice. You might be on there. You might be a guest. That's awesome. So after this, folks, we all need to go over to Yvonne's live stream. Um, hey, Granny, how are you, hon? Sally, I tried to email you the other day. I don't know if it went through or not. Hello, hello. I didn't mean it reminds me of a specifics. I just mean it reminds me of a generic, genetically. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it's a feel-good song, I think. I think it's a feel-good song. Um, hey, Jason. Thanks for popping in, hon. Um, hit 500 yesterday, I believe. Yes. Dan, I found the perfect recipe for my, okay. I don't know what that is for my next Saturday Night Live. Let me just see. Yes, my friend won a wow, okay. That's awesome, Allie. It was a purse, right? Your friend makes purses? Hi, Rhonda. Thanks for popping in, hon. Um, okay, I think I'm pretty much all caught up. Thanks everybody for the congrats. So I'm going to just basically share a story tonight, and some of you already know this story. So I've spent a lot of time with YouTube coaches, right? And one of the things that they've told me over the last several months is because YouTube is becoming like, people watch it on TV, it's becoming like Netflix. The way to go, Lori, is to start building series, like binge-worthy series. Now, whether my series are binge-worthy, that's debatable, but you should build a series. And I actually liked that idea because um, I could take my thoughts and the things I want to talk about and make them more in bite size versus having 17 thoughts in one video, right? So I think I'm on like my third series. And I have to say, because it's been a very slow crawl as far as subscribers and views and whatnot, when I started the series, the views definitely picked up. Um, I typically wouldn't get more than 60 views per video. And then once I started the series, it was ticking up over 100, 300, and so on, right? And then with the decluttering series, which was my second series, and I do have a point here, so just bear with me. Um, it ticked up even more. I was getting like 500, 600, 700 views, which is a lot for me, a lot. I'm like, yes, finally, I'm going in the right direction, and all that. And then in this last series that I'm currently in, the very first episode got 1,600 views. And I know not everything's about views, but hear me out. Um, so I was like, obviously very excited about it. Put out the second episode in the series and flatlined. I'm like, okay, okay. So basically that means the packaging, right? Your title, your thumbnail just didn't work, didn't resonate with people. I'm like, okay, that's fine. What, and I say flatlined, it, I think the first week it barely hit 50 views. So, and you got to remember, this is coming off of like a couple months of, you know, um, just ticking up there. So, and sometimes what I do is, and I don't do a lot of shorts, and I'm typically strategic about the shorts I do. So I'll do I'll have Opus Clip do its magic or whatever, and I'll just pick one short and tie it back to that video. So I did a short from the second episode, and now my shorts have always been, on either side of 1,000, right? Again, that's not a lot for shorts, but that's typically what my shorts have done. And this short, I mean, it was, dead on arrival type of thing. It got no views. I'm not even sure if it's hit 50 views yet. Okay, so that really sent up a red flag. I'm like, a short not getting, you know, a couple hundred, a few hundred views. Thought that was really bizarre. But still, and I didn't do, I just said, okay, the next episode, I'll just make sure the packaging, I'll spend some more time in the packaging. So the third episode, same thing, nothing, flatlined. So now I started doing some digging. I'm like, okay, this just isn't normal. And bottom line, what I found out is there was no impressions, zero impressions, close to zero impressions. So much so that my click through rate is over 20%, which is unheard of. Um, I'm lucky if my click through rate is typically around the 4%. YouTube likes to see it at 5%, but I've been told if you're at 8%, they think you walk on water and they will push you all day long. Okay, I'm at 20%. But what I found out, and so I'm sharing all this, um, for any of you folks that may have seen your views kind of tick down, I can't believe it's only me, is that, and this lined up perfectly with my second episode at the end of February. I want to say it was around the 22nd, 23rd. Don't quote me on the day, but the end of February, another algorithm change. And supposedly it's supposed to help get rid of some of this AI slop, right? Even though that's all YouTube feeds me is AI slop. So because of that, they are literally just, if you don't go, what I was told, if you don't go viral within the first 4 hours of a video being released, they just slow crawl you and they just don't push you at all. Now that's what I was told. The thing is how do you go viral when you have 50 impressions? So anyways, so I have to admit, I was kind of disappointed about this on Friday. I'm not going to lie, I was disappointed. I've put a lot of time and effort, and yes, I do enjoy the journey. And several folks have reached out to me, both through, comments and, um, called me personally or whatever. And I do enjoy the journey. I love everything I do, but I also want to grow a business. And I think the reason it impacted me and I felt so disappointed is because I think that inner child, and if I say inner child, I mean that seventh grade version of me who never got picked for kickball, came up. And I think it was in the back of my head saying, see, Lori, it works for everybody else, but it's not going to work for you. You know, Stay in your lane, Lori. YouTube is not for you. And I think this was the feelings and thoughts that were going through my head. Um, but in true fashion, like I do, I sat with it, and uh, I just told that seventh grade version of myself, it's okay. We got this. And I'm not doing a full pivot on my channel, but what I felt, I got this really gut visceral reaction that I'm not doing a pivot, but that I'm supposed to drill down on some of the stuff I'm talking about. Because right now it's very broad. I feel it's very broad. And I'll be honest, it's probably to catch, a larger net, right? And, but I don't think that's what I'm being called to do. And I truly believe I have the golden ticket. I really do. But everybody can have the golden ticket. And I just feel that I'm not doing what I need to do. So this was God, the universe, whatever, just putting a pause on it, saying, okay, Lori, we need to slow this down and you need to sit with this and think about it. So that was why I sent out the community post I did the other day. I've been thinking a lot about it, and I've actually started rescripting the next series that I'm going to do. And again, it's not a huge pivot. It's not, so I don't want to make it sound like all of a sudden I'm going to be talking about something else that I know nothing about. Um, Mm, I think that I just lost my whole train of thought, but okay, I lost my train of thought. Let me go back to the comments and maybe it'll come to me. But I guess I just wanted to explain and thank you. Thank you for everybody that, was just, trying to make me feel better and truly supporting me. And I love that. And and I do enjoy the journey. Anybody who knows me knows how much I love everybody here, and I would do anything for them, anything for them. So, but I'm also the type of person that wants both. Simple. We can both, everybody can have both if that's what you want. You can have a business and you can have a community that you absolutely love. So, um, let me, I don't know where I left off. Okay. Escaping the Suburbs. For whatever reason, the song always makes me think of the Golden Girls. That was a good show. That was a good show. Be right back. The egg rolls aren't going to get themselves out of the air fryer. Oh, I am so hungry. Seriously. I tell you this all the time, Jason. Every time something shows up in my feed, I'm starving. And right now, I'm starving because um, did I tell you I forgot my computer? Yes. So I haven't had a chance to eat anything. But that was the other thing I wanted to share. And I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but nobody told me this. This is what I have experienced personally, is that all you folks, everybody I'm subscribed to, not one of you will show up um, in my feed. Not one of you. Over the past, I'd say 4 or 5 days, 6 days. Um, and I actually noticed it a couple days ago, and now I actually look to see how many screens I have to go through before I find somebody that I'm subscribed to, and it's nobody. And supposedly subscribers don't matter, and if you watch somebody that'll show up in your feed, well, that's not happening either. I think, after I get through 6, 7 pages, I might see a short from Scott. I might see a live from Sally, maybe. Um, Nobody is showing up in my feed. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe, like I said, the algorithm, there's some type of change, and it's just going to take a few weeks for everything to settle out with YouTube. What is showing up in my feed is stuff I'm not interested in. So I don't know if they're trying to push. I don't know. And a lot of it is the AI stuff. Um, the only thing I like to listen to that is AI generated is some of Wayne Dyer's old, um, seminars, talks, whatever that he used to have. That is it. That is it for AI stuff. And, but there's so much. There's obviously so much with what's going on in the world that is showing up in my feed. Um, I'm not saying it's not important, but it's not what I watch. So I don't know. Sometimes I feel like they're pushing what they want to push, or just maybe something was broken with this new algorithm. Things are broken. It's just going to take time for them to get reacquainted with what I'm with what I'm watching. So I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. Drop it in the chat and let me know. All right, it's dinner time for everybody. I'm taking you with me as I go out to pick up some takeout pizza. That sounds yummy, Scott. Hey, Jen, how are you, hon? Good evening, everyone. I love the new addition to your channel direction, alignment. It definitely fits with your content. I think so too. I think so too. I have chili in the. Okay, guys, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Chili, egg rolls, pizza. What else do we have? What else is everybody else having for dinner? So, hello. Hey, Pam, how are you, hon? I'm so happy you made it home safely. It was yesterday? Was it yesterday or today? I did watch your live on the replay, though I thought it was live when I clicked on it. But driving through 2 hours of a whiteout and freezing, freezing precipitation, that is scary. I've never been through it that long, so I'm just glad you're safe, hon. Uh, so many hellos. Not everyone hits big. It can roller coaster. Oh, yeah. And it's okay. Roller coaster's okay. Flatlining is okay. But then I want to understand why to see if it's something I'm doing or if it's just something that I have to work through. And again, if I felt it was just something that I needed to wait until things kind of, equal out again, I would have done that. I just felt a calling to go deeper. So it was just a good, again, typically there's a lesson, right? There's always a lesson in something. See, I was telling Dan today when I talked to him that I found a recipe book to make recipes for you guys. The next time I have my live at night, I felt so bad that the two of you were probably not able. Oh, to make what your pigs in a blanket thing you made last night, Sally? Yeah, that did look amazing. Your view count blows me out of the water. I'm in awe. Well, thank you, Scott. Thank you. Sally, I was watching your marriage video with Dylan and we were laughing our heads off. Wasn't that great? Yeah. Sally, I'm not as strict as Daniel because I'm on type 2. I do a lot of whole wheat and portion control. I appreciate you thinking about us. Sally thinks about everybody. You can make your playlist a podcast. This means people that use YouTube as a radio can download you on a different app, like Apple has podcast app. Yeah, I do have I have been putting my episodes because all my episodes pretty much are talking head. So you know, any of them, even the ones where I'm outside walking or something is to me a talking head. So I do put those out on the podcast. I have them on Apple and though I think it's a different name on Apple. So I do need to clean all that up. Um, but I have them on Apple and Spotify. So enjoy the journey. Don't look at analytics and you will grow. I agree, but I still want to grow a business. So you can't not look at things. But I agree 100%. And I do enjoy the journey. Um, so no, you're not always lecturing. You're just keeping me grounded. And again, there's nothing wrong with wanting both. There just isn't. I'm hoping someday soon, when my husband retires, we'll be able to go off and do things. And it would be nice to have something other than, you know, I mean, just it'd be nice to have another income coming in. So, but those darn analytics probably drive every YouTuber crazy up and down and all around. And I don't really watch them. Like I said, I think it was the fourth video that I was finally like, okay, something's wrong. Like I said, I saw him flatline, but I didn't go and start researching. I just assumed it was my packaging. Um, I'm still trying to figure things out. And yeah, good info, Allie. In my video today, I left in dropping the paint bottle and the painting falling off the little foam handle. I had it taped to. Definitely not AI dropping. Exactly. And that's what I don't get is, there's supposedly this is all around to help clean up their site. And I'm sure well, I listen to Think Media. I don't know if anybody else listens to Think Media, but they were just talking. They did a video not too long ago about how YouTube is like demonetizing everybody, kicking people off, these channels off the platform. They're not doing it quick enough because that's all that's in my feed. So, and I get it. So from that perspective, it's all okay. But there's no part of my video other than using Canva for my thumbnails that I use AI. And I will have AI inspire me for titles, but I'll be honest, they stink at it. They're not very good at titles. Not that I'm great, but I feel I'm better than AI. Um, so we all have them thoughts. They were not good enough for YouTube, or at least I do. See, Mike, you understand? Yeah, I mean, those thoughts just come up, right? And I think that's why I was so, when I thought about it and I sat with it, that's why I was disappointed because it was just that inner voice. Um, but I know better. I know better. So, and that's what I told her. So maybe we're too good for YouTube. Now, there you go, Jen. There you go. So, and I laugh because my husband said that. He's like, it may be time for another platform to come along. I don't know. People used to say that too about Amazon, right? Because Amazon was such a conglomerate and had, took over the marketplace, if you would. Um, I'm not sure anybody, I know Walmart has tried. I don't think anybody will ever come close to Amazon. And nobody may come close to YouTube, but YouTube is definitely, when they get too big, right? It all just becomes, they kind of forget who made their channel. And I don't say me, but just, the simple YouTubers, the simple people who are out there creating, right? And the other thing I wanted to say, this is where I lost my train of thought. And because Mike from Mike's Retirement Corner, I think that's the name of his channel. I think he was my 500th subscriber, like I said. But because he was top of mind, I went to his channel this morning and I didn't get to leave him a comment yet because I was driving. But his video, it's one of those God winks I talk about, or one of those synchronicities, because the video that I watched this morning, I think is his newest one, but he talked about how he too was sort of getting caught up in um, just doing what all these YouTube gurus are telling him to do, what equipment to get, how to do titles, how to do hooks. Um, and he said it sort of took him over. I'm paraphrasing, so I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he just got consumed with it and he forgot why he started YouTube. So, he put the brakes on all of it, and he reminded himself why he started YouTube. And I've talked about that, right? When things get hard, and I think this is what I did this weekend, is you gotta reconnect with your why. You always got to have a strong why, and whether it's YouTube or anything you do, whether you're on a health journey. um, Daniel has a very, very strong why, and this is why, he's known about his diabetes for a very long time, but this time is different. I didn't know him back then, but I can feel his resolute this time about it. And it's because he has such a strong why. You got to have a strong why in your life as to why you do something. And if you can have that strong why, when you have, times when you need to rethink and remind yourself why you started YouTube, like Mike did, or, when I was kind of disappointed this weekend, if you have a strong why, you can pick yourself up pretty quickly. So, so I definitely have to go back and give a shout out to Mike, because it was just watching his video was just like, okay, God, I got it. Thank you. I'm on the right path. I'm not the only one that kind of gets lost in, um, you know, following what these YouTube gurus tell you to do. And yep, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Never mind. Anyways, but Jen, to go back to your comment, yes, my husband said the same thing this morning. So I think you might be onto something. You're doing it right, Lori. Keep aligning. Thank you, CL. And I know you were encouraging too over the weekend. So thank you. You, Granny, Sal, there was so many of you that were really encouraging. And it means a lot. It really does. And um, I don't need to be reminded why I'm doing YouTube. I know. And it's all of you. Um, and I think I've shared this, that I came on and started doing YouTube because I felt I had a lot that I could offer and help other people. And um, because again, I do believe we all have that golden ticket. I do believe that we all have that purple crayon, that it doesn't matter what your life has been up to this point, you can design it any way you want to design it. And but what I didn't expect when starting YouTube is the friendships and the community and just how much I love you guys. I just do. So YouTube should be so. I think they forget, Pam. I think, because I know Amazon. Um, and I think I've shared that, I had a business on Amazon for 14, almost 14 years. And I used to read in the forums all the time how people were so disgruntled with Amazon, people that had been with Amazon like from the beginning. I forget, I have no idea when Amazon came around, but people who started just selling books in the very beginning on Amazon. And Amazon makes a chunk of their revenue from third-party sellers, but the way they treated third-party sellers was horrible. And I think that's one of the reasons when they said I could no longer sell the product I was selling, that I was like, you know what? I don't want to start over. I don't want to go down that road again. It's time for something else. So, and I guess I'm just going to throw this in there for no other reason than, God always has your back. I talked to, I don't expect to make millions, or I'm not looking to make millions with YouTube or anything like that. But like I said, I'd like to have some money coming in. That was one of the reasons, I don't know if I'll ever get monetized, but when that thought was going through my head over, this past few days or whatever, um, I've gotten a call from the company I used to work for, and they want me to work another project for them, another project that is going to be super simple for me. Um, so I'm not expecting it to take a lot of time. So I don't expect it to impact like YouTube at all. But it was like God was like, okay, Lori, you want some extra money. YouTube isn't doing it. So here's something else in the meantime, right? I don't know. God is just good. And it's just nice, especially after 15 months of having no income coming into the house. So, and I share that only to remind everybody. I know you guys already know it, but to remind everybody how good God is. So I can honestly say I don't look at the analytics and I don't do this as a business, and I won't get rich being me and putting out a totally organic channel. I won't get rich. Um, no, monetarily, right? Maybe you won't get rich. But Granny, your channel's something special, and I said that to you last week. Um, so, but you should at least look at the analytics enough for when you can get monetized, right? It's okay to want both. It really is. So, but it is what it is. But it is what is me, and I have to be true to that first and foremost. 100% Granny. 100%. And I think those are the channels that do have that special feeling where people are drawn to them when they're authentic, right? I mean, you ever walk into a room and there's always somebody that, people sort of want to congregate around, or just it's because of their energy. Well, that energy comes through these channels too. You just feel it. And your channel is one of those. Sally in the morning, I've shared this with her that um, it doesn't matter who's coming on, including the trolls. She says hello to them like they're the most important person to her. And that makes people feel amazing, amazing. And that's just how she is. That's not fake. That's who Sally is. So um, I just I just need Sally to look in the mirror and give that same loving to herself. So, because she is an incredible lady. Say 100%. That's the beauty of YouTube. You do it your way. Yep. We all have videos that flop. Just remember in baseball, if you get 3 hits out of 10, you are considered a good hitter. So 1 or 2 video flops are not a big deal. Just keep creating. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. I think we all go through these times, and numbers are baffling at best. When I totally let go of trying to fix my channel, my content does better. Also, Lori, our niche is hard to grow. It is slower. I agree. Um, when I chose this niche, as you probably know too, Rhonda, and I've had multiple YouTube coaches. And the one thing, yeah, they all have different advice. Um, but one thing that they have all said is that this particular niche is probably the hardest to grow on YouTube because it's so broad and yeah, it's just, I guess, so broad. That's so, but you already know that, Rhonda, I'm sure. Yes, I have noticed I have to go looking for the people I'm sub to a lot of the time. Yeah. So and that to me is annoying, right? Because and I put out at least 2 videos a week. I'm not consistent on my days. And I know Scott is, for example, right? But if he doesn't pop up, I don't think, oh, today's Monday or Friday, so Scott's going to put out a video. Our lives are so busy, you just don't think like that. Um, so I do need to see it. I do need to be reminded, oh, yeah, okay, Scott just put out a video. Daniel just put out a video. Um, so it's just very frustrating because now, I kind of look at my subs over on the left, and I have to say, everybody I have sub to, I do watch. I do watch. Um, Unfortunately, I guess some of the times it's either when I'm running or driving, so I'm not always able to leave comments. A lot of times I'll go back and try and leave comments, but then I forget, and so. But I watch everybody's video, and um, oh, but thank you, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, and I know I'm not alone. 100% know that I'm not alone. Um, but I at least wanted to share some of the things that I was told as far as the algorithm, in case anybody is, noticed a drop in their views or whatever and is a little disgruntled about it. I just wanted to share it. Um, I found that to Lori. I found that to Lori, my people I subscribe to are not in my feed anymore. Oh, okay. So yeah, you've noticed that too. So you, Pam, I'm sure everybody would say that. And it used to be subscribers, right? And then, well, subscribers don't really matter. It's just whoever you watch. They treat every video like an island, if you would. But now that's not even happening. So what are they doing? You know what? I don't know. Cop shows come up on my feed, or criminal shows, spy movies, or yeah, these real life dramas or whatever. So, um, and I'll have to say, okay, I'll watch it. I'll bite YouTube. You want me to watch this? I'll watch it. And then I'm like, why are you showing me this? It's all a lie. Everything you're showing me is a lie. So so frustrating. But that's funny, Sally. If I see a video from people I follow, I make sure to save it to watch later. And then YouTube shows it to me again. Okay, this is probably going to be embarrassing, but how do you do that, Pam? How do you save it? Is there like three buttons you click on and that's an option, save for later or something, and it puts it in a playlist? So go get you an, yeah, a burger. And it's funny, I drove by Five Guys on the way back up to the lake after meeting my husband. And I know Five Guys is not the healthiest, but I was so hungry. I almost thought about pulling into Five Guys to grab a burger, but I didn't. So after I'm actually having butternut squash soup, which I absolutely love, but it doesn't sound very good right now when I'm that hungry. So I might have to do a grilled cheese with it or something. Hey, Glenn, how are you, hon? I'm glad you could pop in. Yes, I'm not seeing everyone's video notifications. I had to go look for my artist channels today. Yeah, see? What are they doing? So, but now at least that we know this, we will go and look, right? We will go. It's easy enough to do a search, even though it's annoying. Um, but there is no big notification, right, of what they do. So that's why I got to call my, people that have like that inline into YouTube or whatever. Say, okay, what's going on? When mine flatline, I enter all of the analytics into chat and ask it to decipher. That's exactly what I did, only I entered mine into Gemini the other day. And I'm like, okay, tell me what's going on here. And they basically said, nope, you're a unicorn because it was giving me all these reasons why, probably flatlined and everything. But then I gave them screenshots of all my analytics and like, yeah, no, we have no explanation other than it probably has to do with, this algorithm change that you were told about, yada yada yada. So, but yeah, that's I don't know if anybody else does that, but that's what I do too, Glenn. I mean, Jason. Hey, Daryl, how are you, hon? I'm glad you could pop in. So, have you noticed that it suggests different things depending on which device you're on? I think it has an opinion about what you'll watch on each device and shows you different suggestions on each. You know what, Scott? I don't know if I've ever thought of that, but I think you could be right. I think you could be right. I'm going to have to pay attention to that. I typically watch a lot on my iPad or my phone. I watch very little on TV. There's only one show that I typically watch on TV, and um, but I'll have to pay attention to that. That could be. It was today, Lori. The live was pretty rough, but I will probably leave it up. So yeah, I was just, and you did get cut off like pretty abruptly. So, but I'm glad you're safe, Pam. Hello, hello, hello. He was live today and live. Just kidding, Mike. Yeah, and actually, maybe I clicked Pam right after um, it ended or something because it still had the live badge, saying Pam's live right now. Um, but again, you were like 6 pages down, so who knows? I think it's okay to have both, but don't let her drive you crazy. I think it's okay to have both, but don't let her drive you crazy. Okay, I think I'm far behind in my comments. Yes, Scott, the recommendations on the TV app are different from my iPad. I won't do any YouTube on my phone. Yeah, the only time I watch it on my phone is if I'm moving around, if I'm, like I said, if I go out running or if I'm out with the chickens or something. So some people just want to do it for fun and some want to do it for business. And some want to do both. I'm one of those both people. I want to do both. So I did a live stream on my way home after I got out of the blizzard. It isn't very good though. I dropped the phone, lost the signal like 3 times. Yeah, it was a little bumpy there. Yeah, for sure. But that's okay, Pam. You know what? Because if nothing else, the more you do it, the more comfortable you feel doing it. You know. Now, the last couple of times, though, I sort of had it planned last time. I haven't had any notes for my lives. Well, today I had zero notes, none. I didn't have any time because I didn't expect to be um, forgetful and leave my uh, laptop at the house. So, and the thing is I literally had everything packed up because I knew I was coming up. I had everything packed up, loaded up the truck, me and my car, and the only thing was my computer bag. I'm like, let me go take care of the chickens real quick. I wanted to change their water before I left. Changed their water and just went right out through the breezeway, never went back into the kitchen to grab the bag. So, and I just didn't even think about it. But I did forget a coat too because it was so warm today. I forgot to bring a coat, and that dawned on me right as I got on the highway. I'm like, should I turn around and go get the coat? If I had turned around to get the coat, I would have seen the bag, but I didn't do that. So, on your title tonight, Letting God Lead, what does that look like, and who and what are you talking about? I'm using ChatGPT and vidIQ to help with titles. So, when my title tonight, when I said Let God Lead, I don't know when you joined, Cheryl. Um, but basically, after the disappointment I had over all these videos just flatlining, after seeing for the last 2, 3 months, I just saw, the right trajectory. Everything, the views were going up, everything was going up. My hours, it was just all good, right? But when things flatlined, obviously all these feelings or whatever. Um, but when I got quiet, it's like I just had this really gut feel that I wasn't supposed to pivot, but I was supposed to go deeper. Like Lori, you're spreading, the net too far and wide, and just go deeper with my message. So that's what I meant with the title about letting God lead, because of that message, that download I felt I got from him. And as far as titles, I will go to chat sometimes Claude, and I'll ask for inspiration. Like, and I do this backwards. I think you're supposed to do the title before you do the video. I don't, because a lot of times in my videos, I riff, I just, go off the bullets that I have. And so I will take my recorded transcript and I'll dump it into a model, and I'll ask them to give me, maybe 10 spicy titles or 10, question titles. And typically they're just not great, but they do inspire me to say, oh, I like that. I like, and I'll just tweak it like a word or two. So that's how I do my titles. And I have tried to use vidIQ because vidIQ gives you this rating. Um, but vidIQ has given me, this is going back a while, like sort of in the beginning last summer when I used them a lot to help with titles. It would say that the title was like a 93, thumbnail was a 87 or something, and it would do horrible. And then sometimes it'd say, oh, your title, Lori, is like a 42, and it did good. So I don't know. I don't know how. I still think vidIQ is trying to get there. I don't think they're there, but I don't know if that was your question. Um, if not, let me know, but just going to keep an eye to the time. but that's how I do my titles. So I'm a lot like Sally, just started doing YouTube because I was lonely and then I decided I want to share the good news. Yeah, I love your channel, Yvonne. And as long as you have that strong why, you know, the days maybe that you don't want to record, you just don't feel like it or whatever, it'll just give you that momentum. But, and that's great, having I mean, absolutely having a channel. I'm all, I have so many friends now. Not that I didn't have friends before, but you know what I mean. There's always somebody that's checking on me, just saying hello. I love that. I love that. So I hear you. Use chat all the time. Yeah, that's okay. So, but like I said, it's a huge inspiration, 100% huge inspiration. I'm also using chat. Is chat the only AI model that has a free version? I don't know if any others have a free version. Um, Again, I used Gemini the other night just to help with my analytics. And I only chose Gemini because it's Google. So, but I was told once that um, Chat and Claude will always tell you what you want to hear, even if it's not the best. That Grok will always be the most honest with you. Um, I forget what they said about Gemini, but so you have to tell, at least I do. I have to tell Chat, please, please don't tell me what I want to hear. Um, Tell me what's honest, what makes sense, you know. So I'm back from my meeting. I'm glad I caught you live still, Lori. Yes, Catherine. And I hope you're doing well today, hun. And, you know, just kudos to you. Kudos, because, and let me just say, I don't think you realize, and so many of us, right? I don't think we realize the impact that we really do have with other people. And so that's all I want to say because you've meant a lot to me, Catherine, and you've inspired me even before you knew who I was. I met you through Rob, and I was following you before that, like before you and I connected. So just remember that. You don't always see it, you don't always hear it, but it's there. You never know whose life you're touching. You whether it was Daniel and I know Sally says it all the time too, just that whole domino effect. And so I just want to say that. I eventually want to start an art business, but YouTube for now is fun. I don't really feel the need to ask chat for things. Yeah, that's fair, CL. That's fair. Where am I? Am I okay? I'm gonna speed up, guys. I'm so sorry. Yes, I watched his video too, Mike's retirement. Yeah, so you know which one I was talking about, where he was like, he kind of forgot why he started. On YouTube, I got lost going down the path of trying to do it right. In the past 48 hours, I've let that go, and creating has been easier than ever. No editing, just talking to the camera and uploading. 100%. Yes. Yes. And I think, you know what? Maybe we're all having this epiphany, right? Um, so, and there's so many people out there. And I don't know if it was Scott who said it to me. Somebody recently said it to me that you got to pick like one or two people and listen to only them because you can really get lost, confused, frustrated when you're listening to too many people. And I'll be honest, sometimes I don't think they all give us the best information. So I think the best information is what comes in here, right? Because whatever's in here is what we're going to see out here. Um, I think no one knows better than ourselves. Sure, as far as the tactical stuff goes, right? Like, how to set up Ecamm or obviously sometimes you need help with that type of stuff, but how to create and the whole thing about you got to have a hook and you got to have it within the first 10 seconds because people want to jump off, you know. Um, that's done. I can't do that. So, and I know one coach in particular got very frustrated with me because of that. So ask the five whys. It's something we do at work all the time. Um, so tell me, CO, the five whys. What do you mean by that? We're part of a lovely community. Yes, we are. I'm binge watching videos on foods that are good for diabetics. Like there are bad veggies and good veggies. Yes, there are. And there's also good fruit and bad fruit. Um, like grapes. Grapes, and maybe you know this, you don't know this, but grapes are like sugar bombs. So grapes are not good. Um, DG, my husband uses it to learn to fix equipment. Catherine, I may have never been brave enough to post my first post without the videos you were doing back last year. I have enjoyed every change you have made to your channel because I enjoy you. See? And so this is what, and it's great when our community like this comes together and just lifts each other up, right? Because we all need it. We all need it. Catherine, I hope you're doing okay. I'm dealing with diabetic headaches. They come and go. Yeshua is so good all the time. Yes, he is. Yes, he is, Tyler. Lori, I have to say your confidence is inspiring. Just give it some time. Thank you, Allie. Thank you, Allie. Don't. Hello, hello. Lovely day for a Guinness. Yes, Scott. And actually, I'm using a Guinness tomorrow when I cook my corned beef. So we're gonna have a corned beef tomorrow, and again next week on St. Patty's Day. Michelob Ultra. There's no crying in baseball. What time is it? Okay. Um, I didn't play baseball, but I was an all-star in softball. Good for you, Allie. Good thing we aren't playing baseball. My coworker and I say no crying in baseball all the time. Okay, I missed something here. Uh, Catherine, doing your thing is key. I'm very happy that you're feeling better about developing your content. It takes the stress out of it. I always wanted YouTube to be fun, but when it starts to be a hassle, then I will leave. Yeah, fair. I put mine on every morning at 7:30. At least I try to. I've been having between 400 subscribers for a few weeks. Yeah, I have a lot of gain 5, lose 6, gain 10, lose 8. So there's been a lot of that. Our content is positive with no rants, complaints, or controversial. We don't offer get rich quick. I do know that when you build your community, they are strong and loyal to your positive content. Thanks, Rhonda. Thank you. That's inspirational. Um, yeah. And that is one thing I will say. I believe my community is very organic. Um, I do believe it. So, and that's why when somebody, bumps off, that's okay. I'm not for everybody, and that's a good thing, right? It's just the way it is. Yes, I was not notified that Pam went live this afternoon. Really upsets me. I would have been there for you sitting around doing not a whole lot today, but watching YouTube. Okay, I am going to, let me just see how far behind. Oh, I am so far behind, guy. I'm so sorry. I am really far behind. Though I did see, don't mean to skip over you guys, but I saw Dana, so I at least want to say hi to Dana. You'll do it, Dana. You'll do it. You know, I've always said that as soon as you walk towards fear, it typically backs up. And if you take 2 steps towards fear, it usually disappears. So just do it. Don't think about it. Um, I'm just going to read Thoughtuary because I don't want to be late for Yvonne's live. And then I will go through the comments. Um, I'm sure you guys have caught up with them, but I'll read them. That's a good thing about Ecamm is well, I'm sure YouTube does too. They're saved. And if there's a question that somebody had that I didn't get to, I'll definitely make a post about it and make sure I answer it. Because again, there's so many things that you can be doing on a Sunday night, especially a Sunday night that stays lighter out longer. um, than logging on and listening to me ramble. So I really appreciate you folks, just so you know that. Okay, March 8th, right? March 8th, the storm of life. So just after midnight on March 8th, 2020, I was heading to bed when out of nowhere I felt the need to go back down to our finished basement. I went down and just stood there, feeling confused because I had no reason to be there. And after a confusing minute or two, I decided to head back up to bed. As I passed by my journal on the table, I thought that maybe I should uh, sit down and write. I checked my phone. Sorry, the light's pretty dim in here. I checked my phone and it was 12:12 a.m. and I started writing. Just reflections of the day, feeling tired. Nothing meaningful really. It just felt like one of those moments where you just get going through all the motions. So I decided to stop. Then for some reason I made a bold vertical line after the last word I'd written. I never do that. And after that well, I felt, maybe even heard something say, don't think, just write this. Okay, hold on. I got to reread that. Then, for some reason, I made a bold vertical line after the last word I'd written. I never do that. And right after, I felt, maybe even heard something say, don't think, just write this. So, for context, my writing process has always been pretty straightforward. I usually have one line pop into my head, and then I'll write for 10 to 15 minutes, editing as I go. Each thought takes anywhere from 10 to 25 minutes to complete. But this one, I don't remember writing the specifics at all. I wrote it in less than 2 minutes and thinking about a single word or pausing for even a fraction of a second. And when I finished, I just knew, oh wow, hold on guys, this is a long one. I just knew, I just knew to stop and make another bold vertical line, just like before. So here it is. This is what I wrote, exactly as I wrote it. No edits, no revisions. So don't judge the things you see, feel, or hear. Don't try to understand the meaning of the existence you have. I am here. I am always here. I listen. I know I am. The only thing you must do is nothing. I am in control of it all. I know better than you what you must do, where you must be, and what you must say. Trust me. Trust me with your life, your spirit, your soul, because your soul was created by me. It came from me. It is me. Oh my goodness. See? See? This is amazing. Your soul, your beautiful soul, the only creation you have, the only creation you need. Come to me then. Lay down what you have, your burdens, your pain, your madness. Show them to me in the light of day. Show them to me. Do not hide. Do not run. Do not be afraid or wither like a branch on a dying tree. Speak, speak your truth and be healed. For I am the one. I am the master. I created all. Everything you see, feel, hear, and touch is me. Be still. Let me comfort you. Let me love you. Let me take you from this. Let me take you from this into my arms and shoulder your burden. You are my child, the one I look after. See beyond, the one I look after, see beyond for and understand. So be still in the storm that I also created, that I also control, that I also own. This storm, a storm of lessons in the night, the storm of goodness and light, this storm that will make you the one you are supposed to be, this storm of being, this storm of life. Well, thank you, Ed. You always know what I need to hear. So that is pretty powerful. Um, I think I think I'm going to rewrite that and I'm going to put it out on our community post. This is definitely worth reading a couple of times. And as usual, Ed is spot on. Man, doesn't matter what I open up to in this book, it always seems to resonate with what we've been talking about. And this just doesn't apply to me. This applies to everybody here. I mean, we are all walking through things. And dang, I mean, I've always known my spirit, my soul comes from God. No doubt there. I love seeing it in writing like that, that somebody else believes that too. Okay, folks. That's it. Sorry, a couple minutes late. I love having you here. I will see you folks over in Yvonne's live and throughout the week on everybody's videos and lives. I love you guys. You have a great week.